It's time for Ask Your Auntie, the show that gets real with teen girls about life. They ask, and we answer with tea. Tools for excellence and achievement. The goal? To help girls make better decisions in real time. When you can't ask your mom or G-Ma, ask your auntie. Now here's your host, Marissa Terrell, Esquire.
Got questions? Ask your auntie. I'm Marissa Terrell, but you can call me Auntie M, and I'm director of the High Tea Society Foundation and the host of this podcast, Ask Your Auntie, where we provide sugars, also known as teen girls, with reliable answers to their questions. Now, if you were with us a couple of weeks ago, we had a really terrific segment. We featured two fantastic cousins, McKenzie and Taylor, and I thought, let's have them back because I thought the conversation was so great. So remember how I mentioned that it takes a village to raise a teen girl? It absolutely does. It takes aunties, uncles, and play cousins. Okay, so here we are with our cousins, McKenzie and Taylor. So welcome back, girls. Hey girl, hey. Okay. So we were having so much fun last week. I thought, let's keep going because I think it's really important that our sugars hear from you because you're closer to their age than I am. We're not going to get into my age, but let's talk about you. McKenzie, you are 17. 17 and going into what grade in
12.
the fall? You're going to be a Wow, you're going to be a whole senior?
Yes.
Do you know what you're doing next?
College and studying for criminology. Criminology. Yes.
You're into that?
Yes.
Okay. And Taylor is?
I'm 22.
22.
I'm going to be doing grad school at Howard.
At Howard. Don't forget HU. Okay, come on. This is a whole town that's built up around Howard University, so we got to make that known. So we've got two really remarkable girls, like high achievers, A students, but also have musicians and creatives. And so I think this is going to be a really good conversation. I kind of think of both of them as like the cool cousins that you're going to call up when you got like a real problem with anything from school to relationships, et cetera. So we want to kind of talk about what you guys are up to these days. It's summertime. So what are you up to?
Work.
You're working
in the gym.
At the gym?
Yes.
Okay. What's your day like then?
A normal day would be work from like 9:30 to 1:30, usually 2 o'clock. Then I go to the gym either from 4 to 6 or from
2 hours. What are you doing at the gym for 2 hours?
Leg workouts. I only work on my legs. I have no upper body strength.
What in the world?
No, because same.
I don't understand this. First of all, cardio. What about your heart?
It works.
I do a little bit of cardio, but
stamina?
I do just dance.
Oh. That's what you do at the gym?
No, I do that at home.
What's Just Dance?
It's a Wii game.
Where you get to like follow the thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Also work. And I guess like just spending time with my aunt and my cousin and uncle. And
you're a family girl.
Sometimes.
Nice. Nice.
But yeah. Or, it's pretty much just work. Because if I'm not doing work for my internship with you.
What's a great internship. Let me just say, I love your boss. Like, she's remarkable.
I'm like doing my own like freelancing work, so.
Okay, so you guys are super busy. I love this entrepreneurial spirit. I want to commend you for taking time in the summer to take care of yourselves in addition to, working. That's great. Not everybody is doing this, by the way. So you're going to go back to school like ready to go. That's great because we got to take care of our bodies. It's important. We only have one, and those habits that you form in high school are the ones that in college, are the ones that you take through the rest of your life. I wish that I used to run track or something because I always thought it was so cool for people. You could just take some shoes all around the world and do your workout. But that wasn't my life then, and it is not my life now. So I'm saying if I could do it again, I would have taken track or something, so I could have done that. Anyway, all right, Sugar, so let's get in here and try to answer some of these questions because I think it's important that we use this full time. Just for that, this is great because this is part 2. So we're going to jump right in. Here's the first one. Do the decisions I make in high school even matter?
Yes.
Do they matter?
Yes.
All the decisions I make matter? What do you think, McKenzie? What?
There are some decisions that may not take you far. Like if you join the dance club, unless you like dance and that's what you want to do for your whole life, then you can just be like, I did dance in high school. But like grades, the peers you want to hang around, the choices you make, the events you do, that honestly either gives you a story to tell later on or gives you a path into a nice career.
It's true. I mean, I think back in high school, this is when I first, started getting up in front of people and singing, which is what I like to do. I remember the first time I did it, I was petrified. The person on the piano, she kept bringing my cue in, and I would not sing. She must have done it 4 times, and then they would just get off the stage. And I was like, no, I'm ready. Flash forward, and now I'm not as nervous, right? But that was a start for me. It would have been either I would have practiced it, gotten better, or I would have known this is not for me. It's good to try. High school is about trying different things, okay? So, what about you, McKenzie? What do you think? I'm calling you McKenzie. Your name is Taylor.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at, I'm messing this all up. Taylor.
I agree with McKenzie. The decisions you're making do matter, but the small stuff, what do you eat for breakfast? Maybe not as much, but again, the people that you're hanging around with,
oh boy, yeah.
The company that you keep and the things that you're doing, whether it's influenced by this company or on your own, those things are going to have a lasting impact on you because you could either discover something that you really like, or you might get yourself in trouble, or you might, figure out that you don't like certain things. So you're like, okay, this isn't a strong suit for me. So maybe let me look into other things. Let me figure out what works best for me and what's the type of person I want to be and the type of things I want to do.
Very true. I think one of the earlier episodes we had talked about one of my favorite shows, which is Law and Order. Now, I don't specifically like the Special Victims Unit. That's not one of my favorite versions of it, but I like that Detective Tortola, Ice-T. Anyway, okay, that was my generation. But I liked one thing he said. I saw him speaking one time, and he was saying that all of us are one bad decision away from disaster. You get into the wrong car with someone who's drinking, or you go to the wrong party. Your tingly intuition, Holy Spirit, whatever, is telling you, get out. And you stay past the time. There's gun violence. All of these things that happen every day that we have to be head on the swivel, paying attention, alert, because they can change your trajectory. Those movies where people, they have one version that ends like this and one version it's real.
Yeah.
So you have to take yourself seriously. And you're right, the company that you keep makes a difference, because if everybody's doing negative things, I'm sorry to say, you might not be strong enough every day to do the right thing. And it could pull you left. Right? Not that you can't recover, because God is good. He will give us second and third chances. But why go through all of that when you can do it a different way? So, yeah, your decisions definitely matter. They matter today, even if you're not in high school. They matter.
And the sad thing is that society and, other people are not always as forgiving.
Oh, and isn't that the right?
So you definitely want to be conscious of the decisions you're making.
Yeah, because that label stays on you forever.
Yeah,
even if you change everything, start a new life, restart, there will be that one person that remembers you. That is hey, you're da-da-da. And it's just going to bring back the worst memories of your life.
Right.
And they're never going to let it go.
Never.
But that's where they're mentally going to leave you at. That's
true.
How they're always going to view you.
And now with social media, there's a record. Oh my gosh, there's a record. And you want to go into criminal law. Man, how many times are people using people's rap lyrics and their past Instagram posts, etc., to convict them?
So much can be brought up from the past, and so much can be brought up from the present, because you can post something that was wrong 100%, and you can delete that. You can try to delete that, but somebody saved it. Somebody already saved it.
And Time Machine will take you. You can look at go back on the internet. When I discovered that, I was like,
yeah. When you erase something, it's there forever.
Yes, it's there forever. Okay, here's a question. So I feel like you guys both are experts in studying. So what is the best way to study for a history test?
Color coding.
Color coding what?
Units, what you need to remember, the important stuff, not the whole page. Because there are those sentences that can get you through and get you an answer to remember. Like, for example, I have questions and then I have bullet points on how I want to answer it, especially if I'm talking out loud. So then I just remember the bullet points to answer it out perfectly.
Okay. Okay. So does green mean something significant if it was highlighted on your book?
For me, it was probably the Hamilton era that I was learning.
Okay. Thank you. I am now getting my mind. Yes, I'm following. Yes. Okay.
Alexander Hamilton, watching the musical multiple times. I love it. So every time I learn it in history, I will always highlight it, especially for a test. It's my favorite thing to study on because I know everything already.
Okay. Okay. So colors help you to do that. Now, Taylor, you are also a very
Visual person.
colors and all that. How does that help you study?
So like similar to McKenzie, I would color code things, but I would do it like based on like definition. So like if something was a definition for something, I would highlight the word and then that definition, and they'll be the same color. So I can always like be like, okay, I'm looking for this word, so I need to look for something in this color. And then like topics, like things that were specific to a topic or about a specific topic, like the topic would be in a color, and then that information would be in the same color.
Oh, so it could be relating.
Mm-hmm. And so then that kind of helped me with grouping stuff together, because I'm like, I think it's easier to remember stuff when you group related things together, because you can kind of work out how they're connected. And so that's what I would do when I was studying.
Okay, I love this. I think one of our other colleagues was talking about how she likes to repeat things out loud, right? That's me. When I was studying in law school, I always had to be in my own room. First of all, I had to be in a separate room because I am walking and talking to myself to remind myself about different things. That's how I have to hear it.
Yeah.
And then I have to say it, and then I have to write it. Yeah. Okay. Cool. All right. I think we got that one. What about books? Books played such a big role in my life growing up. I think it was because my parents worked a lot, and I was constantly the last kid to be picked up. Like, that was my life. And so didn't have video games then. It was like the Jurassic era. So what that meant was I was constantly reading. I always had a book with me, or two or three. What about you?
I don't read.
What?
Okay, so
What, you just said you were like an A+. You do read.
I don't read.
You don't read for fun.
No.
Okay.
I read to learn.
Okay, understood.
So in my free time, I do everything else but read.
Okay. But you have a favorite book.
I do.
What is the favorite book?
Coraline, not the movie, by Neil Gaiman. The movie and the book are pretty similar in some facts because, of course, they got the facts from the book to make the movie. But it's an interesting book because it's about his life, just not his life. It's like
The author's life. That's his life?
not truly. It's more of
A fictionalized version of his life?
somewhat. And
As
it's
a
for, like,
girl?
his daughters.
Through his daughters.
Yeah.
All I remember is being very dark.
Yes, because it's about a girl who wants a different life. She doesn't want to be around her parents. She believes her parents are too much and they don't love her, and oh, my mom did this again. Those like teenage moves.
Which is a perfect book for a teenager. It's a perfect book.
And
Okay.
she travels through a little tunnel
Yeah.
to the other world where her other mother is and her other father is. And
Does she like them better?
They give her the perfect world. Give her everything she wants in the snap of a finger. If she wants rain to play in the mud, there's rain. If she wants a cake, there's a cake in front of her.
So, of course, she must hate it.
She loves it there.
Did she leave?
She
Spoiler alert! Spoiler.
what made it to the point where she was like, I have to go back to my normal life.
Why?
Is when they finally were like, to stay here, you have to sew buttons into your eyes. Because everybody there had buttons in their eyes.
They sure did. And again, darkness.
And that's when she finally wanted to leave, and she tried to go to sleep, couldn't. And then she realized that the other mother was the most powerful being in that entire universe. And she's done this multiple times before.
Oh, taking the kids.
Showing the kids this little doll of themselves. The doll moving towards the tunnel in the apartment complex. Because it was an apartment complex. It was like a really big house.
This is very
they just
intricate.
split it into the rooms. And
are you suggesting that every teenage girl read this book? Would this be the recommendation for our sugars?
I say it is, but some people find it too creepy.
I love Coraline.
I love Coraline.
Okay, Taylor, jump in.
I love Coraline.
Why? Oh gosh, you sure do. Okay, but why is this? I understand because it's very much like Narnia, which was my book, where you go into another world, or like Octavia Butler, you get snatched back to this time, slavery or whatever. Why is it one of your favorites too, Taylor?
I just remember watching it when I was younger and really liking it, and just I think part of it was like the art style, because it was like
the animation, yes.
So like I just loved the visual of it, but then like also the story was like really interesting.
Yeah.
And like I've always kind of liked creepy things. Like I watched horror movies a lot when I was younger, so it wasn't like, for me it wasn't that scary. Like whenever people talk about it, I was like, it's kind of creepy and scary. I was like, I don't remember.
No, it's just like the edges of it.
I feel like what really got them was when the other mother turned into the creepy spider lady. Yeah. I was like,
and this did not affect your dreamscape.
No.
I love this generation. Okay, so, but what it is saying to us, sugars, what I want you to pull from this conversation is that you can find books of characters that have different experiences. You don't have to try every experience. You can try through your imagination and also learn lessons and just be exposed to different things. I think the variety is what keeps it fresh. I think all horror all the time, probably not a good idea. Okay. Mix it up, please. I had my favorite books. I really felt like I became friends with these characters. Like I felt like I could see myself in them, and it helped. I don't know.
I'm different. I turn into the character.
You turn into the character? So you really get into it. So does that mean we have to be careful what we let you read? Are you going to turn into like Hermione next if you like read all the Harry Potters? Like would you?
Being younger and being an only child, I would find personalities that kind of match mine.
Yeah.
Like the show Chowder. My mom like physically banned me from watching it. Chowder. It's about a little purple guy, and he's an apprentice in the kitchen.
Do you know this? I would not know this. Okay.
He's a little apprentice in the kitchen with his chef Mungdal, the janitor
Is this a cartoon?
Yeah. And his wife Truffles, who is a little fairy lady. They have
I'm into it. It sounds like Simone. I'm into it. But
it's great. It's colorful. It's different.
Okay.
The patterns, you know how like usually they wear the same clothes and it just stays the same.
Yeah.
It stays the same, yes, but they're patterns that move with the character. So the character can move, but it's like a sheet behind them that's just staying. So I really love Chowder.
You are an artist too. I've got two. I feel like y'all are my tribe. Kind of? I don't know. All right, let me ask you something else. How about this? I think this is a question we always sort of ask everybody, because I think our sugars need to be able to learn how to move through feelings, okay? So when you're feeling, as my mom would say, the mean reds or the indigo blues, if you're feeling like sort of not your upbeat, happy self, what do you do? What's the first thing you do to cheer up or to change your mood?
Well, for me, I kind of like to allow myself the space and time to kind of sit with that feeling.
Oh, you sit in it.
Yeah, because like it's as cliche as it might sound, like it's perfectly fine not to be okay all the time. And I feel like allowing myself to sit in that feeling and, just feel it and let it be, because there's nothing wrong with that feeling. Like you need those sad moments or those, not so cheerful moments, because those make you appreciate the days where you're feeling your best way more. So I kind of just let myself, sit in that feeling. If I need to cry, I do that. Or if I need to scream into a pillow, I do that, because like the catharsis of it, like that release of it, is like so relieving, and I just feel so much better afterwards.
I find it very interesting that it wasn't just pick the phone up immediately. Are you the friend in the group that is like the listener?
I can be.
Okay.
Therapist friend?
Yeah, are you the like? Is it like 1-800-Taylor? I got a problem.
Not. Well, my friends don't really do that to me, and I appreciate that.
Okay.
But like I kind of do that sometimes for like family members. Like, you know, if they need someone to vent or like a safe space, I try to be that for them, because like that's one of my ways of like showing them that I care for them and I support them.
Action, okay.
Okay.
Okay. I like what you said. I think it's very interesting. I think it's not always comfortable to sit in the space of uncomfortability, but feelings are fleeting, right? They move, they change, they morph. The times that they don't, when you're sitting in a feeling and you just can't move through, now you're wanting maybe to reach out for help. Mm-hmm. But typically a feeling comes and goes. Sometimes they're caused by environment. Sometimes you just wake up angry for no reason, and it's better to just sit with it and figure out what's going on than to like maneuver through that so that it becomes your whole day. What about you, McKenzie?
Being an only child,
yes,
and parents who were trying to make sure that I could survive, I've talked to myself, talked myself through the emotions, talked myself during the emotions, basically giving myself somewhere to speak. Because one thing I'm used to is people not listening to me, but wanting all of my opinion, being the therapist friend.
Really?
Yes. So it's harder for me to find people, because being the therapist friend, I am more of the person who's here to help you. So when I need help, it's kind of odd because you're coming to me for help.
So you need like a different group for
when
that.
The therapist needs a therapist.
Right.
So it's like I talk to myself. I talk to myself because I'm a yapper. I talk so
but when
much.
You say talk to yourself, like I could come, if I was like in your room, I would hear you literally audibly saying something.
Yes.
So you're not writing to yourself.
No.
You're talking to yourself. Are we recording this? Is this being transcribed?
I used to do voice memos.
Yes.
I don't listen to them. But I used to have voice memos just talking about how I felt about the world or a situation I was in. I think I have one where I was done crying about a guy. But like, I would just be in my room and you could just hear me just.
Oh, wow!
And it's calming because you finally find somebody who can listen to you.
Yes.
Who finally can hear your voice.
Yes.
And hear how you feel.
But this is great because that means you will recognize your voice when you get around, so when you get out of high school and get into a new environment where you're not surrounded by your clique and you're building new relationships, you will be able to recognize immediately when this doesn't feel good or this is perfect or whatever. You'll be able to hear it, and you'll be used to going somewhere and saying, okay, where are we at with this? Like, this is good. Interesting. I don't talk to myself per se. I will write it out. I'm a writer, so I have journals all over the place.
I used to write. Okay. I have like pages full of writing, but it never changed anything for me. It would make me more angry or more upset. Because
so it wasn't getting it out enough. It wasn't working through it.
Why is everybody angry at me? I did nothing.
Yeah, so it's a vent, not like a talk through, like a work through. Okay, I am just really, wow, so happy that I put that question up here. Okay, what do you think happens if you don't listen to that voice? Remember we just talked a minute about your voice and being clear, loud and clear. And for Taylor, when you have, listened, you sat in your feelings, whatever, and maybe that gave you a quiet space to make a decision. What do you think happens when we ignore those decisions that we make by ourselves? You know how you make a decision, then you get around your girls and they say, don't do that. What happens if you continue to not listen to that voice?
Later on in life, I get it. I told you so.
Yeah.
Right. Like the heavy on the you're gonna be upset with yourself because you're gonna find yourself doing things that you didn't want to do or things that your heart really wasn't in, and so it's gonna be like you wasted time when you could have been doing things that you actually wanted. So when you're making your decisions, make them for yourself. Like, make them for what is going to make you happy and what's going to be best for you. So, like, always kind of listen to your voice. Like, it's okay to, like, have, like, other people, you know, give their opinion. And, like, because they can offer a new perspective, especially when it's people who, like, actually care about you and, like, are actually looking out for you. But also, like, you kind of know yourself the best sometimes. So you kind of, always keep what you really want and what you think in mind, and don't just like let other people's opinion sway you.
It's hard to do, though.
Yeah.
It can be hard to do. Peer pressure can be very strong. And when you're by yourself in that decision, like the worst thing, I think, you make a decision and then everybody's like, okay. And they like turn and they're out and you're stuck in that place. But
at least like when you make a decision by yourself and like you stand behind that decision, if it doesn't work out, you're like, you know what? Okay, yeah, it didn't work out. But I stuck true to myself. I stayed true to who I am. I stayed true to my morals, my principles. And that's important.
It's important.
Friends who can't understand that and can't understand that you're not doing something because of how you feel on the inside aren't meant to be your friend. Because if they can't grasp that you don't feel right about this situation and they can't be like, cool, okay, I get it. You're saying no, or this isn't something you want to do, we can find something else. Then they weren't there to be your friend. They were there to push you into doing something they wanted to do.
Right. Yeah, you own that going in, and I think that, like God gives us this inner strength, but when we don't listen to it, it just gets quieter and quieter and quieter. And then that's a place you don't ever want to be, where you can't hear it. Ooh, that's a scary place to be. That comes with constantly ignoring it or being around people who are like bad energy, or like even drugs and stuff. It like dulls it and you can't hear it. Okay. Interesting. Is there... I kind of want to move into like this concept of love versus charity. We've talked about this before, meaning, can you ever like be too kind to some people? Can you ever give too much to people?
Absolutely.
This is an absolutely. Wait. This you figured out already?
There's stages to it.
Okay, let's hear it.
There's, she's really, really nice. She'll give you her coat when you're cold. That's great. And then there's, she basically does everything. She's super nice, real generous. And then there's, she's a people pleaser. She cares about what these people are thinking about her, so she's going to do anything to please them.
And look how that went from positive to negative.
It's because I've been a people pleaser. Yeah. So getting out of that headspace of I have to care about everybody else and none of my opinions has been hard.
Yeah.
But once you finally are like, okay, this rando doesn't like my outfit, I look good, then you feel better. You start to be like, why are you caring? But then there's like times where you're like, if I don't do this, or if I say no, they're going to look super upset. They're going to be super upset with me. They're going to be super mad at me. Mm-hmm. I might as well just do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then like with the people pleasing, like you don't want to get into the habit of that, because then you just like you're always going to be stretching yourself thin for other people, and it'll never be enough. Like people will never like, and if they once they recognize that you're a people pleaser, they'll take advantage of that.
Man. They like see you coming.
Like once they figure out that you are going to keep giving until they are like, yes, you're perfect, because you'll never be perfect. It doesn't exist. Mm-hmm. They're going to just like always keep on moving the target, and you'll never get there, and you're just going to exhaust yourself, and you're just going to lose all your energy. Like
lose all your energy, lose all the things that you love. It's a very interesting thing, knowing when enough is enough. I think it goes back to me with Christianity, like understanding charity versus love. We're supposed to be charitable. That means that if we see someone who's unhoused and we can be of assistance, you give them something. You give them what you can. You send them a resource. You tell them there's a place where you can go. That doesn't necessarily you invite everybody to your house for dinner, right? Because that's not safe. We understand there's certain things that cannot be done all the time. But you can still give of yourself without giving of yourself, your whole self. That's what I'm saying. Everybody should not be invited to the inner kingdom, your inner sacred space. Yeah. Right? So you can be kind to people. Hello, how are you? Keep it moving if you have something extra to give. But not everybody doesn't get level of it. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. It took me forever to understand that, because I think when you date, especially women, when we date, we tend to be very giving of our time, of ourselves. But everybody's not worthy of that. And you have to really be able to watch people to see, is this person worthy of that type? Are they also reciprocating? Will they be able to help me when I'm not able to do that?
Right.
Right.
Because you're going to have a time where you'll be depleted. And if they're not able to help fill you back up, then what you have is inequity, and that never works.
Yeah.
That was a whole word for y'all. Okay. And look, how does this go so fast? My goodness. Thank you so much for this part 2 conversation. Growing up in DC is hard, but Sugar, you don't have to do it alone. Join us every week for reliable answers to your questions. I'm Auntie M, director of the High Tea Society. Contact us via Instagram at High Tea Society INC or by email hello@highteasociety.org. If you'd like to donate, text us at Purple Tea, one word, to 44321. We have the tea to help girls succeed, tools for excellence and achievement.
You've been listening to Ask Your Auntie with your host, Marisa Terrell, Esquire. The transition from girlhood to womanhood can be difficult without guidance. We have the tea to help girls succeed. When you can't ask your mom or G-Ma, ask your auntie.